I have spoken out against watching the news more times than I have changed my underwear. And although that is an exaggeration, what's not an exaggeration is how bad the news is attacking Islam. It is not just making news articles saying that Islam is dangerous or Muslims are scary or Muslims are dangerous people. They are misleading people to the point where they are attacking mosques. In the UK, there was another stabbing. I know it's not a surprise, there's tons of them that happened, but there was a specific stabbing where the news said it was a Muslim immigrant. It was some immigrant from Syria or wherever they painted the picture at that came into the UK and is this radical Islamic crazy person, and they're running around stabbing everyone. And this created such a wave, it created such a madness that people were attacking and rushing mosques. Well, it turned out none of this was true. The person who was involved in the stabbing was not a Muslim and it was not an immigrant. It was a Christian man born in the UK. And because these lies were told, a bunch of Muslims were attacked once again. And so we ask ourselves, why would the news lie about this? Why would the news lie to the extent where mosques, holy sites, are being attacked by angry people? Well, it's quite simple actually. When you look at anybody ever, any individual or group of individuals who have tried to take over the planet, they lead off of two different things. It is either disgust or fear that they use to influence people to attack and harm others. At first, they lead with fear. They tell you that these individuals are dangerous, and what they do is they use fear so they can take away your freedom. They say, we will offer safety if you give us your freedom. And then after that, they teach disgust. They push disgust. They say they are dirty and savages and wild and uneducated. That way, they remove any morality out of your body to make you feel extremely comfortable with doing harm towards these individuals. And it progresses to the point where they tell you that it is ethical to put them down, to put them in gas chambers such as Mustache Man, that their existence is painful and there's no way for these individuals to live a good life. And by putting them down, it's actually more moral because they're just going to cause so much damage and pain to themselves. This is the exact tactics they're doing. We've seen this with Genghis Khan. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan was able to do it through sheer intelligence and brute force. Although not a very moral man, he was very capable and was good at what he did. And you have Mustache Man, which is less capable, although brilliant, he's not as smart, and he led more with manipulation than force. And what we're seeing today against the Islamic community is the manipulation tactics that we've seen with the Nazis. And everybody knows the saying that history is bound to repeat itself, but that only matters or is even important if you actually study history. And it seems like the Muslim community is the only group of individuals who actually look at history. And although I do my best, and I do not want to cause more division with the Christians, it is getting very difficult. I'm losing anything I can grab onto to try to unite individuals. It is getting harder by the day, and whenever it is a non-immigrant Christian man stabbing individuals and being painted the picture that it's an immigrant Muslim, it's very difficult. It is very extremely difficult for me to try to get individuals to put down their differences and walk together. But because the division is getting wider and wider and the divide is spreading more by the day, we are seeing a lot of Christians revert to Islam. It's almost as if the best Christians are becoming Muslim. And what has been confusing me the most, and maybe you guys can explain this to me, why the Christians are defending the tiny hat club, the individuals that are manipulating them. It's like this weird case of Stockholm syndrome, where this group of individuals is actively defending and losing their life for the people who are manipulating them. They're defending their abuser. And I can't believe, and I will never believe, that these individuals don't see the abuse. They don't see what's going on in Palestine as a positive thing. There's no way anybody genuinely thinks that that's a good thing. So they must be scared of the abuse. They have to be scared of the abuse, and they don't want it to happen to them. That's why they're defending it. That's the only thing that can make sense to me. I don't know, you guys might know a different perspective, but this is all it seems. This is the only way it makes sense. What's so beautiful in this chaotic moment is that Allah is the best of planners. We could see this firsthand. The more chaos that happens, the more destruction that happens, the more this political circus tries to stir things up, the more people are reverting to Islam. Islam is growing faster than any other religion by a landslide, and it isn't just birth rates. We're seeing so many people revert, including myself, because of the chaos that the other side is causing. So the more horrible they are, the more beautiful Islam seems to the people on the outside. And that curiosity, that little spark, is all it takes to gain another brother or sister, another person to speak the Shahada out loud in public and to join us. I mean, there's not much that is required to get people to move to Islam. You don't have to sell the truth to people. The truth is the truth. But because the truth is getting louder and the lies are getting stickier, it has put me in a really weird position where I'm extremely conflicted, because there's one side of me that says, get violent, get angry, get how you used to be, do an eye for an eye. They take an eye, I'll take their head. And there's that other side of me that really wants to just be at peace and let people live and let people learn and let people grow and let them just fall on their own face. And it's this extremely difficult balance where, do I need to step on the field and fight and scream and yell and tear, or do I need to sit back and remain calm and be the bigger individual? And I believe as long as I have the option to remain calm, that means I should take it. We are getting closer to November and they're getting more desperate. They want to spread more lies, to divide people, to get people against Muslims more than ever. They don't have much of an option. They have to get people away from the Quran, or else their tactics will never work. They're going to lose, they're going to fail, and they're getting desperate. But because they're getting desperate, they are getting dangerous. And we're getting closer to November as this political circus comes to a bubble. We're going to see the decision between two clowns, and which clown gets to decide the fate or the next 4 years for the country. And no matter what comes about this, people are going to fight with each other. Nobody's going to be happy. Either you like one side or the other, and the people who like the other side than you are your mortal enemies somehow. And this division is going to cause a lot of smoke. It's going to throw a lot of dust in the air. And whenever the dust goes in the air, that's whenever they're going to pull the sneakiest crap. This is whenever they're going to do the worst. Gearing up to get people to fight with amongst each other and use this as a distraction to slide in other stuff. And this is why it's so important for us to understand history and understand that they are going to use fear then disgust. When things get crazier, they're going to push fear. They're going to say, it's dangerous out there. Give us your freedom and we'll protect you from the danger. And then after that, they're going to say, see, these individuals are disgusting and gross maggots. We need to get rid of them. Now, nobody can see the future, and I really do pray that I'm wrong about this, but if history does repeat itself, it's probably going to be around January whenever they start the smoke, when they want the dust cloud to cause a bunch of distractions. But at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to feel fear or get nervous about this. I want everybody to understand we have an unfair advantage against all the chaos. We have the Quran. We have a book that is not compared to anything. We have the Word of God, and no matter what, at the end of the day, they can make fake news articles, they can bot comment sections, and they can pay off influencers all they want, but they can't change the Quran. It will never change. There are 9-year-olds that have it recited and memorized. They can burn every Quran in the world and it will be there 10 minutes later. And I want to let you guys know that I appreciate every single one of you. This social media stuff is wild to me. It's not something I ever imagined. I never anticipated or expected to revert to Islam, and I never really anticipated to be doing anything on YouTube either. So I promise I will always do my best to find accurate and value information. It's a very hard standard to live up to. It's a very high bar that is set for me, and I will always do my best, but keep in mind there's going to be times where I will make mistakes. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching and supporting.